Alright, welcome to episode 66. Yeah, the reason with the echo, this is a 5 horror game, well, thriller, scary game, whatever you want to call them, recommendations. I just want to throw 5 out there. I mean, there's obviously more. These are 5 games that I have not done a review on, so I'm going to do a quick review on each one of them. Rather than do 5 individual episodes, I'm going to do 5 quick mini reviews. In no in particular order, these are just 5 that I definitely recommend. The Fear series. There's Fear 3 coming out next year, so I don't obviously have a review on that yet. But Fear 1 and 2 and the expansion, the Fear Files, I definitely recommend the game. Very scary game. It's a first-person shooter survival horror, and it's a lot better than games like Resident Evil when you kill things, because there's a twist. There's cops. There's weird ghost things, like in number 2 in particular, when you go through a school. One of the scariest things I've seen in a game in recent years. So definitely check out Fear 2 for that level. But the Fear series I definitely recommend. It's a lot of fun. There's a weird twist at the end of 2 which sets up 3, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a good horror game. The BioShock series. It's weird looking at this game on the cover and thinking horror, but at the same time it makes sense. This is definitely a scary horror game. It's intense. There's a lot of twists in the series for 1 and 2. 1 is much better than 2, but there's a lot of things that just make you jump and kind of mess with you. And I think it's the time period too that it plays along with, and just the setting of it. And Rapture itself is just really freaky. In an underwater place, you just have that feeling of what do you call it? Just being secluded. Like, if you're panicky, this game is going to really bring that out. So, just a confined space. So, another game, Prototype. This came out about the same time as Infamous. They're very similar in storytelling and the comic book look, feel of the game. Infamous obviously did it better, but Prototype was a lot of fun because with Infamous you have the electric powers and everything is electric based. With Prototype you get different things like this black, like, it's kind of like, not Spawn, Venom, like kind of like Venom from Spider-Man. You have this black strength that consumes you, and you have like knives, you have hammers, you just rip people apart, you know, consume their brain and their identity, you can disguise yourself as them. And the similarities between Infamous and Prototype are uncanny, but Prototype made it on both systems, whereas Infamous was a PS3 exclusive. But Prototype was a lot of fun. It was a very difficult game to figure out, and controls worked well, but it's an open world game, much like Infamous, and it looks, I mean, the setting is in like New York City. I believe they call it Empire City or something like that. But it's a lot of blacks and reds, like Gears of War, like the color scheme. But it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend that. Alone in the Dark. That's another one I recommend. It's a relaunch series. It's kind of glitchy, but it's a fun story. It's takes place in New York City as well. Like every game, you know, every horror game should take place in New York City. Like what doesn't take place in New York City? But it's Central Park. It's half open world survival, other half you go through levels, and you have basically just like a flashlight. It's kind of like early ideas for what Alan Wake became, is what Alone in the Dark reminds me of. It's a lot of puzzles and different things like that, but it takes place in New York City rather than the wilderness. So Alone in the Dark's a lot of fun. Besides the glitchiness, it's very difficult too. So, but and the cool thing too, they did it just like Alan Wake, instead of like episodes. And you know, it might even be the same company, but I don't believe so. But the similarities are uncanny if you play Alone in the Dark, and this came out a few years before Alan Wake. So check it out. You can be like, hey, you know, that's ripped off from so and so. But alright, the last one I recommend. This is a $20 game, brand new. Didn't have much marketing. Didn't really have a big development team. It's kind of a new company. The game is called Deadly Premonition. It's a really poorly graphical Japanese horror survival game, but the story itself is so captivating, and it keeps you really interested all throughout. And on top of it, it's an open world, kind of like Silent Hill kind of feel to it, and there's just different things going on throughout the town that you can go through, and it's set up into 5 chapters, and you just go at your own pace through each one. And it's a really fun game, and I definitely recommend it. And you can't beat the brand new price of $20, which means used it's 10 or less. So Deadly Premonition, definitely look for that one. You're going to have an enjoyable experience as long as you can get over the cheesy graphics and the cheesy like Japanese characters to it who try to be American. It's weird. You got to see it, but it's one of those games you're going to sit through the opening scene and you're like, what is this? Why am I playing it? But then when the story starts to open up, you're like, okay, this is cool. So those are 5 horror games I recommend. Kind of late on the Halloween thing, but hey, people like horror at Christmas too. Black Christmas movie, they even did a remake recently. So check out those 5 games. They got a lot of new things coming up, and holidays are coming up, so happy holidays everyone. We got snow, as you can see already. If you're watching this from an area that doesn't get snow, I'm jealous because this stuff sucks. It's fun to look at, not fun to drive in. But I hope you enjoyed this recommendation. Those are 5 games to recommend. For more videos, subscribe to my channel and tell your friends. And happy holidays.